All right, as you guys can tell, there's two watches on the table today. That's because you guys have been requesting this video for a while now. And today we're going to be comparing the MM200 Reduced to the 62MAS Reissue. Both of these watches are very similarly spec'd. They both use the 6R35 movement, and both of them are listed at retail for $1,200. So they're very similar overall. These are going to be two good watches to compare for their price points. But I think there's three key differences that we're going to go over. The first one is going to be the bezel action. Second is how they wear on wrist and how they feel. And then thirdly, we're going to be comparing the lume on both of these watches. At the end, I'll tell you guys which one I prefer out of the two. But if you guys want to see the full reviews on each of these watches, I'm going to leave those linked to this video. I'm going to put the exact reference number of both of these in the description as well. So we'll quickly go through the bezel action first, and we're going to start with the MM200 Reduced here. So we have a 120 click unidirectional bezel. We have a ceramic bezel insert with the polished look there, so it's shiny and aesthetic. And we have a coin edge bezel here, which is a little bit tall, and the coin edge pattern itself is deep and pronounced. So it's very easy to grip. You guys can hear that too. It's very audible. It's not very tactile though. It's very spongy, very SKX-like feeling. So for the price point, I think Seiko could have done a little bit better with the feeling of this watch. Sounds great, easy to turn even with wet hands if you're washing dishes or even taking it in the pool. It's very easy to grip. So no issues, but I think for the price point, they could have done a little bit better. So again, decent, good, but not great. Comparing that to the 62MAS here. This one still has a 120 click unidirectional bezel. This time Seiko went with a stainless steel brushed bezel insert, which is coated and PVD black. And we still have a coin edge bezel here, but the pattern itself is finer and less pronounced than on the MM200 Reduced. I'll pull that up just for reference there, just to compare the two. You can see there, the bezel itself is taller on the MM200 Reduced. Oops. And the action itself here is a little bit better as far as the feeling goes. And as you can hear too, the sound is just a little bit more refined. So overall, I think this is a more refined bezel. The action, the sound is better. So overall, I think the bezel action is gonna go, the advantage goes to the 62MAS. For the $1,200, I think it's a good bezel action. It's great, but I wish they would have went with the brushed ceramic, so you would have had the aesthetics of this, which I prefer, but you would still get the hardness and scratch resistance of the ceramic. So, but neither here nor there. They put a stainless steel bezel insert. Aesthetically, I like it. It feels better. It's more tactile, and it's just overall just a better bezel. We'll quickly go how these watches wear. For reference, this is a 40.5 millimeter case size, 20 millimeter lug width. I have a 7-inch wrist, just for your reference there. This one is about 13 millimeters thick, or a little bit over that, to the top of the protruding sapphire crystal. Hugs the wrist perfectly, no hot spots as far as the watch head goes. This one has the crown here at the 3 o'clock, but it does not dig into my wrist at all. So very comfortable watch. This is one of the two watches that I can wear with the dive extension, and there's no issues. So that tells me personally how well constructed the bracelet is, just because, like I said, usually when there is a diver's extension on any bracelet, it usually digs up in my wrist and creates a hot spot, but for whatever reason, this one didn't. So great feeling watch. I forget, after a long day of wearing it, I forget that it's on the wrist. I can still feel the watch because it's not light, but it's not overbearing, and there, like I said, it's very comfortable. There's no hot spots. So great feeling watch on hand. Now going to the MM200 reduced here. This one is a 42mm case size. It still has a 20mm lug width. This one is about 12.5 millimeters thick. So about 0.5 millimeter to 1 millimeter difference. How does this feel compared to the 62MAS? Well, this one being just slightly larger, I actually feel that this one, its weight is better distributed, and I think it's because how it feels on my wrist is just wider, so it just distributes it a little bit more, which is logical given the larger case size. But this one went with a 4 o'clock crown here, so there's really no digging of the crown on my wrist. There's no hot spots. Again, this is the second and only diver that I can wear with the diver's extension. So these two watches, I can tell, like I said, that the bracelets are very well engineered. It's just a great feeling watch. Overall, I think the MM200 reduced here has a slight edge on wearability, at least for my wrist, just because, like I said, it feels a little bit more balanced on wrist. And it might be just because it's slightly larger. The other one is basically stubbier and taller than this one is. So it just makes this one wear just that much better. Especially like right now that I switched both of them right away, I can tell the difference on this one. Just feels and wears a little bit flatter on wrist. So great feeling watch overall. At the end of the day, I can't feel either of them, but this one has a slight advantage. So right now they're both tied. This one has the advantage of the bezel itself, but the MM200 reduced wears a little bit better on wrist. So we're going to go quickly through the lume of the watches, and there is no issues with the lume. Both of them use Seiko's Lume Bright. So I'm going to quickly just blast these with a flashlight really quickly. Like I said, they're going to last you all night. There is no issues with them, but you will be able to tell that there is a slight difference between the two watches, and one of them has an advantage, a slight advantage over the other. And I'm just blasting the 62MAS here really quickly, just to show you guys the difference. I'll quickly turn off the lights. There you go. And if you guys can't tell, the one on the right is the 62MAS Reissue. The one on the left is the MM200 reduced. The slight advantage of the lume here goes to the 62MAS. I think it's just due to the bigger lume markers. There is just slightly less real estate for lume on the MM200 reduced. So the 62MAS just glows a little bit brighter and lasts a little bit longer than its counterpart. So with those three things now out the way, the 62MAS takes 2 out of the 3 with better bezel action, and better lume, where the MM200 reduced wears a little bit better. So which one do I prefer, and which one do I think is a better buy? I actually think that both of these watches are great. I have both of them for a reason, and I think they both offer different experiences. The MM200 reduced, I think it showcases what Seiko is capable of, even at $1,000 price point. I think the case design is more intricate. It shows off the brushing and polishing. I mean, here it goes from brushed to polished at the bevel there, and then it goes brushed again to the case size, and then it goes polished again. So just very intricate. The style of the linked bracelet, 3-link bracelet here, is a little bit different with more of a hex head design, and then there's polishing in between there. So it's like I said, it's just more intricate, more details on this watch. I like the 4 o'clock crown. So it's just, this one offers more of what Seiko can offer, where this one here, the 62MAS, is offering you what their heritage is. This is based on their first diver. So This one is more tool-like in its aesthetic. It is just based on a skin diver that they released in the 60s. This is a 3-style link bracelet as well. It's more rounded, and it's more polished almost everywhere. There is a bevel there right before in between the brushed top and the brushed case back there. There's a nice detail for that. So it's not a slouch, but this one is more basic, more toolish. The other one just showcases a little bit more their abilities. In that situation, you can't go wrong with either of them. Like I said, I own both for a reason. I think they offer different things, but if I had to pick one out of the two watches here, I personally would go with the 62MAS, and that is no dig on the MM200 reduced. I just aesthetically am more keen on the dial color, which is the anthracite gray, and the brushed stainless steel bezel there. But that's neither here nor there. That's just personal preference. I am more into a little bit more into heritage than design at this point in my watch collecting journey. So I think this one represents what I like a little bit more in a brand. But that being said, this, like I said, showcases what they can do even at $1,000. So, and there's a reason why I still own both. I think both of them will stay in my collection for a long time. I hope this video helped in the comparison. If you guys are looking into either of these, or if you can pick up both, I say do it. I do not regret it. I think both of these can coexist side by side in somebody's collection. It doesn't mind. Let me know what you guys think of each of these watches. Which one do you guys prefer? Catch you guys on the next one.